Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Haste and this is another Smite video, more specifically a guide for the god called Agni.
Double kill.
Agni is a Hindu deity, the god of fire and acceptor of sacrifices. In Smite that first part certainly shines through, and from first glance he looks like a typical mage type of character raining meteors onto the ground. He certainly is a strong magic damage dealer, but that is selling him short. In addition to this, he is a very effective disabler capable of locking down entire teams when played correctly, a powerful assassin and ganker capable of taking out enemy damage dealers quickly, and last but not least, a very efficient lane pusher. Agni's skill set is aimed at a quick playstyle and synergizes very well with one another. Firstly, he has a skill called Noxious Fumes, where Agni creates a cloud of gas at an area of your choosing, doing a small, almost, and I say almost on purpose here, insignificant amount of damage, but more importantly can be ignited by his other three abilities, stunning everyone in the area for 2 seconds. His second ability, Flame Wave, scorches all enemies in a path, doing a nice bit of damage, and thirdly, Path of Flames is a multi-purpose ability, where he charges forward creating a trail of fire behind him that does damage over time to anyone within the area. This skill is incredibly handy for pushing a lane, or in combination with Noxious Fumes for initiating a teamfight or ganking an enemy hero, and lastly gives you a lot of escape possibilities. Now keep in mind that Path of Flames lasts for 4 seconds, meaning that using Noxious Fumes when the ground is already on fire also ignites Noxious Fumes. His so-called ultimate ability, gained at level 5, is called Rain Fire. Once unlocked, Agni will gain a flaming halo every 20 seconds and he can have up to 3 of these halos. Now at any given time you can use this ability for no mana cost, firing a giant meteor at the area you're pointing at, dealing a great deal of damage to everyone within that area. He can fire these every 0.5 seconds, meaning that once you stored up 3 of these you can fire them after each other for insane amounts of damage. You'll mostly want to prioritize this skill over Flame Wave whenever you're fighting, as it deals a lot more damage. And lastly, this skill has an incredibly long range, meaning it can also be used to snipe off running enemy heroes.
Your right tower is under attack. Double kill.
Then finally, like all gods, he has a passive ability, and in his case it's called Combustion. After hitting with 4 basic attacks, Agni will gain a buff that allows him to set his enemies on fire with the next Flame Wave or Rain Fire. Once set on fire, these enemies will take additional magic damage every 0.5 seconds for up to 3 seconds. Now once you start a match, you'll first be confronted with the item shop and the everlasting question humanity is always faced with. What do I start with? You can't really go wrong here unless maybe you pick physical damage items for whatever reason, but I would suggest you start up with 1 rank of Boots of the Magi, giving you some more damage, some more mana and more maneuverability. Then go into the ability section and pick up Meditation. This ability gives you another skill to use and refills 75% of your mana pool, which is incredibly handy for sustainability during laning, whenever you're in a tough spot or just want to trick your enemy into thinking you're all out of mana and are nothing but a harmless free kill for him.
Fire. Your left tower is under attack.
Lastly, with the bits of gold you have left, I'd get at least 1 or 2 health potions and then you're set to go. Well, that is until you're faced with the second question, what lane do I pick? Again, you got quite a few options here, either you can go with the buddy, or if you're really brave, a random stranger to one of the left or right lanes and face it off in an epic 2 vs 2 battle. Perhaps you can try to awkwardly jungle, which is really a waste, or call dibs on the mid lane. Personally, I would almost always suggest you take the middle, because when you're playing Agni that is incredibly effective, providing you know what you're doing of course, and hopefully I can help you out with that. But first, when you do decide to go to the left or right lanes, it's generally best to do so with another god that can deal a lot of damage in short amounts of time and can easily follow up your charged stun combo that you'll be doing a lot. Essentially this boils down to placing Noxious Fumes at your victim of choosing and quickly following it up with Path of Flames, preferably charging over them and setting them on fire in addition to stunning them. If you're with another high damage hero, this is often a guaranteed kill, but make sure you don't get too confident because you cannot take a lot of damage as Agni. Additionally, another god that can do a variety of disables can work very well, providing you time them after one another, locking down 1 or 2 enemies completely. However, the reason I would suggest taking the middle lane over any others is because Agni is by far one of the most capable early game pushers in the game. Not only that, but his charged stun combo often means you get to harass or potentially even kill enemy heroes quite frequently. Essentially what you want to do, regardless of lane, is starting out with picking 1 rank of Path of Flames. When you're in the middle lane, one rank of Path of Flames is more than enough to kill an entire wave of creeps, something not many gods can do, meaning you can completely outpush almost any opposition and take down their tower with relative safety. The second ability you want to be picking is Noxious Fumes, and together with Path of Flames this opens up a lot of escape and damage possibilities. From that point on, you'll generally want to prioritize leveling up Flame Wave, followed by Path of Flames, and lastly Noxious Fumes. Once you hit level 5, get a rank of Rain Fire and level this up whenever you can.
An enemy has been slain.
Item wise, what you'll want to do is first of all complete those boots of the Magi, then follow it up with the Gem of Isolation and Void Stone. The Gem of Isolation causes 35% movement slow on all your abilities, including Path of Flames and Noxious Fumes, giving you even more zoning capabilities than you already had, and of course helping you with chasing and escaping. The Void Stone gives you a nice amount of magical power and magic defense, thus increasing your damage and survivability, and removes 30 magical defense from all enemies within 55 yards. As you'll often be going in with the Noxious Fumes and Path of Flames combo, this is very effective. From that point on, it depends mostly on what your enemies are doing. If they're getting a lot of magical resistance, get the Obsidian Shard for magical penetration. If you desperately need physical defense, I'd recommend the Hide of the Nemean Lion or Midgardian Mill, and if you're doing a good job at wrecking the enemy, I'd pick up the Doom Orb, but only if you hardly ever die. And lastly, get a Rod of Tahuti for a major magic power boost. Lastly, I just wanted to go over some counters against Agni. Obviously, magical defense is key in countering Agni, but from the very beginning be wary of Noxious Fumes. If you've noticed, Agni has already used Flame Wave and Path of Flames, chances are he can't actually stun you, for they have pretty long cooldowns each. If he's out of mana, don't get too overconfident, especially if he has Meditation, but Rain Fire is a mana-free ability, so watch if the Agni you're fighting has these fiery halos or not. And if Agni is really bothering you, then get some items to counter him. The ability tab is there mostly to fit a specific situation, and some of these items can be really helpful. Aegis Amulet, for example, can be quite effective. After all, Agni is about taking down an enemy quickly, and if he has wasted some of his abilities while you're invulnerable, chances are he can't actually take you down. Or if the stun is a big problem for your team, get some purification beads. In short, Agni is a very effective middle lane mage type god, reliant on his Noxious Fumes and Path of Flames combo for a great deal of things, and is very proficient at pushing, ganking and disabling. If you like setting your enemies on fire and a quick playstyle, then Agni is definitely one to watch for.
You have slain an enemy.